Hi English 100 students. In this video, we're going to go over the reflective essay assignment, which is due the final day of this course. So if you're watching this, you're getting toward the end of this class, so congratulations. In this assignment, we're going to be focusing on reflective writing, which just gives you an opportunity to think about your experiences and your growth in this course and share those with your instructor. In this assignment, you're going to return to that Module 1 discussion board where you shared your feelings about writing and your identity as a writer. And then you're going to consider this new academic identity that you're taking on as an academic writer and how you've developed in this course, and think about what's changed since that first discussion board assignment where you were talking about your feelings about writing. Have your feelings about writing changed? You've talked about your identity as a writer. Has that changed? Do you see yourself more as a writer at this point or not? Why? Just think about your confidence level or how you feel more comfortable with writing and your identity as an academic writer. You might explore how your writer's voice feels. Does this feel authentic even when you have to write in academic spaces? This is just a place for you to reflect on your own change and growth as a writer through this course. It's also a good chance to think about how you see yourself as a scholar. How do you feel about this new group that you're part of, this college, being a college student and taking on an academic identity? Try to reflect on that a bit in this paper as well. You will be using the elements of rhetoric, ethos, pathos, and logos in this paper as you appeal to your reader. That might mean that you want to rely on one more heavily than others. So consider the audience and the context and decide how you want to approach that. We will, of course, go over audience and context in this assignment sheet. So moving down, your audience is going to be your instructor. That means that you can be a little bit more informal. You can use contractions. You can use first person. You also do not need to cite outside sources because this paper really is just a space to reflect on your own experience. The goal of the assignment is to give you a chance to look back and see how you've developed. So the situation is really reflective. It's about yourself. It's about who you were when you came into this class 7 weeks ago and how you may have changed since then. It's a place for you to pause and consider how this 7 weeks of writing and writing in new modes and learning new information about your writing has changed you as a learner. The format for this essay will still be APA 7th edition style, meaning you do need a title page and you need to format your document in the correct way. You do not need a references list since you will not be citing any sources. I do encourage you to still formalize your document in that you should check for spelling, punctuation, all of those sorts of formatting issues before you submit it. You also want to make sure that you visit this AI statement. You may use AI to help you brainstorm ideas. You might use it to help you suggest an outline that you might work from. You might ask it to ask you some reflective questions that would encourage you to write about your experience. However, as always, no AI-generated content is allowed in your final submission. Everything in that final submission should be written by you. Your instructor wants to hear from you in your own voice about your experience. The bottom here is this reflective assignment checklist, and I think it's really helpful. So you might go through this checklist and make sure you've hit on all of these points before you submit your writing. It goes through the reflection and content, the rhetorical elements, the structure and format, and your AI usage. If you go through all of these and make sure that you can check all these boxes, you'll be ready to submit this assignment. If you have any questions, you can click here on these different links. This will show you how to format your paper. This link will talk to you about metacognitive writing, which is just explains the kind of thinking we're asking you to do in this assignment. And then of course there's always a link to the Office of Student Writing and Learning if you'd like to have a writing tutor work with you or read your writing before you submit. As always, the bottom of this assignment sheet contains the rubric and it goes over how you will be graded for this assignment. As you can see, this is a pretty simple rubric. We're really looking at did you reflect on your growth? That's the bulk of this assignment. Did you communicate well about academic identity and confidence and how your writing has evolved? Did you give some specific examples from the course? Like maybe one of the assignments really helped you grow as a writer, really helped you think about yourself as an academic. Using those examples to support your claims is part of how we use those rhetorical elements, so do be sure to do that. The second criteria talks about those rhetorical appeals, so just making sure that you are supporting your claims with these appeals by saying, giving examples or showing how something is true because you've reflected on it in this way. Then we'll be looking at organization and structure, just how logical is the flow of ideas, APA formatting and grammar. Is it polished? Does it look like an academic document? Does it obey APA formatting guidelines? So pretty simple rubric for this assignment. Really just want to give you a chance to think about your own growth. As always, if after watching this video and carefully reviewing the assignment sheet, you have questions or you want further clarification on any part of this assignment, please do feel free to reach out to your instructor.